what maybe I would like to arouse the topic for today. We start a little bit discuss it during previous weeks, but just maybe barely touch it. And this topic about māna. Maybe you definitely heard this term, Buddhist term, māna. And I'm wondering, like, what's your best translation of this term? If you hear this, the word māna. So usually they translate it as a pride or like sense of superiority. But actually better translation it would be comparison, because usually in suttas, māna always describe, I feel myself superior than someone, feel myself inferior than someone, or feel myself equal. So all these things, they not beneficial because they involve the concept of I. So I perceive that I am this or that, and I'm kind of stable construct, and I perceive another person also as self and also as stable. And then I compare myself with him, and I feel myself inferior, superior, or equal. So this comparison not healthy just because of concept of I. But we will go through this in more details maybe. And in Samyutta Nikaya, we have a Sona Sutta. There are many Sona Suttas in Canon, because probably Sona was a quite common name. There was a monk Sona, householder Sona. So in this case, it's a householder who is a Brahmin, and he comes to the Buddha, and Buddha told to him that whoever ascetics or Brahmins or anyone who kind of contemplate reality or strive for spirituality, who perceive, who see himself superior or inferior or equal on account of physical form, just this physical form, which is by itself is changing phenomena. And this is constantly, so to say, viparinama. It can be translated like always turn upside down. So now it's here, then it's not there. Like the body is like this, yeah. Like it's always change we see, but then also we see the total disappearance of body. We see people dying time after time. I mean, it's in nature, yeah. And yesterday this person maybe sit here, today the seat is empty, so the body is not around anymore. So this physical form have a nature to change one thing, and another thing to disappear completely. And on account of this physical form, one may perceive himself superior, inferior, or equal. And so to say, what it would be other than not seeing reality as it is. So if I compare myself on account of my physical body, for example, like one may have like beautiful body or strong body, and then he see another one who weak or ugly, and he feel, oh, I am better, you know, like, oh, he's poor fellow, maybe I need to help him, but I am better, you know. So this kind of comparison, it involves that I identify with this body. I think this body is my or I, and another body who is ugly or not so beautiful, he's he, and I am better than he. So this comparison happening. Or opposite, like if I have weak body, for example, and I see someone very powerful, they feel, oh, I need to follow his advice. I'm really weak. So the part of following his advice is just a strategy. I may choose, I may see and obviously think, okay, he's a like strong person, I'm a weak person, and he kind of pressed me to protect myself. I better to submit in his whatever he want. I mean, if it's some small things, of course. So this is just logical kind of strategy how to behave in this or that situation. But we speak about this tendency of compare ourselves and feeling of superiority or like inferiority, or even equal, that we like twin brothers, you know, for example, and we are the same, and I have a body and he have a body exactly the same. But then the problem here, if I think like this, and if something changed with my body, and I would be not the same with him anymore, he become more beautiful or more ugly, again I'm suffer, because I start to compare myself on account of physical body. And then Sutta continue with all these five khandhas, five aggregates. So the next one about feelings, like I feel something pleasant, and not like I feel something pleasant most often. Let's say I don't know, enjoy beautiful sights or enjoy very good food very often, and I experience pleasant sensation very often. And on this account, I may compare myself with another and feel like I'm superior, he's inferior. But this Vedana, this feelings itself, it's a changing phenomena. Like it's arise now. Like how often really we take some food, some breakfast or lunch or dinner, and then enjoy. It's tasty, well cooked, and healthy maybe. And then how long these pleasant feelings last? Really just for a, I don't know, short moment, then it's go again. And even feelings of once you eat today, then tomorrow you're again hungry. So these feelings of something in your stomach what may feel pleasant, it's also disappear. And if on these things would change very fast and disappear very fast, I really compare myself with others. So then it means I build something stable and permanent. I may think about myself, okay, I'm actually always experience good feelings. He always experience bad feelings. So it's not reality. And the Sutta say what it can be rather than not seeing a reality as it is. Because reality is phenomena changing, phenomena moving, people changing, people moving, like all this quality what we show, they change time after time. There's no one who completely evil or completely good. Like we always behave because of some circumstances, because of some condition in the past. We try our best. I mean, someone not try his best. So, but things, even the person who didn't try his best in the past, after some things change, he maybe meet. Like for example, very common example. One young guy, for example, was very bad and like did some stupid things here and there, was disrespectful and so on. But then he meet another woman, like girl, and then she kind of show good qualities, and he want show himself better for her, like to kind of get engaged with her and so on. So he changed himself, and then they maybe become together, and then he changed, and then he become a good person. So condition may change, and no one really kind of fixed and stable in one qualities. We all like this. We all change. Like that's why I jump to conclusion too fast. It leads to suffering, and it's not seeing reality as it is, as the Sutta say. So then it's continuing with the perception, like any ideas what I have in mind. If on account of any ideas or recognition, I again compare myself, superior, inferior, or equal. So I think, for example, I don't know, I think about Dhamma. Now, and another person come to me and start, I mean, I cannot see his mind, of course, but by his expression, I can see maybe he read some latest news or whatever. And I think, okay, I'm superior. My thought about Dhamma, his thought about news or whatever. But again, like, if I compare myself with him, on account of something what has changed, like these ideas or thought phenomena, they change very fast. Today, now I have this idea about Dhamma. Next week something happened with my home country, my mother sent to me these things, then I will think about my country, about worldly news. So things have changed like very fast. And if I, again, make something that it's a stable and permanent, I'm always like this, I will suffer because things are changing. Then let's speak about volitional formation, like or will or intention. And if on account of this I compare myself, also it's not seen in reality. So for example, I have intention to meditate now, and for example, during the day I had, let's say, 5 times intention to meditate, average. This is the thing. And I might feel myself, okay, like how many people have this intention 5 times a day to meditate? Not many. Probably I'm better than they. So, but then tomorrow things change, my body becomes sick, and during the day, not even one thought about meditation would arise in my mind, not even any intention, because I feel so weak, so painful that all my intention is about to recover from this weakness, nothing to do about meditation. And then, like, if I kind of make about myself some picture, okay, I'm the person who always want to meditate. I mean, it's not true. It's the thing that I change again. And even worse, if I express it to someone, I always want to meditate, and you not. Then of course it leads to disharmony. And then next day, if he see me like lie down on the bed whole day, he say, okay, you yesterday actually commit a lie. Yeah. You undertake your 5 precepts, but now you commit a lie. So again, these things are changing. And lastly, speak about consciousness. Just this experience of seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, or touching, or even mental activities. So this just present of knowing. I know some experience. This is consciousness, and this is on account of this. I may feel myself superior or inferior or equal, and so on. It's also, I mean, it's more subtle, like, but it's more again referring to the sense of self. If I perceive myself that as I am who see, yeah, I am who hear, I am who think, and so on, then of course these things may change. And like again, some other person who don't have ear faculty, for example, yeah, like who has been born deaf, yeah, like without hearing faculty, and then I compare myself. Okay, I'm superior. I have 6 faculties. He have only 5 faculties. Yeah, there is no hearing. But who knows? Yeah, accident may happen tomorrow, and I may lose my hearing. Then, like again, these things are changing. Okay, so basically, whatever we may experience, whatever we may feel, or whatever we may cognize, or anything, all these things are changing. And the change of things may lead to understanding of that I shouldn't identify with this. I shouldn't take as permanent and non-changing, stable self. And then, if I don't take this, I would not compare myself. So this, interestingly, I heard from some monks, they say like māna as a fetter, as a bondage to existence in a way. They say need to be overcome lastly. They say like there are 10 fetters, and māna would be overcome only by arahat, by one who completely enlightened. And because of this, people say, okay, no need to deal with this. You know, it's okay. If you feel yourself superior because you practice Dhamma or study Dhamma or you practice 5 sila, it's okay. You're not an arahant now. Like it's no problem. Like you have more big things to do, like with lust for maybe strong sensual desire or strong aversion or even ignorance. So I mean, ignorance also very subtle. But again, like on one side, it's true. Māna is more subtle things. Comparison is more subtle things. And if you compare yourself, and if you're obviously a good person, yeah, if you follow the Buddhist teaching, you do everything the good, you help other people, and you just obviously compare myself, yeah, I'm superior than him, for example, who don't do these things. It's very subtle. It's not so unwholesome. This karma would not lead you to some bad rebirth and so on. But these things, because they base in the identification. And if you deal with this identification, you would be free from suffering. Because whatever I identify with things, me or my, things change, I'm suffer. So this kind of logical tendency, it's very logical, but how often we fell to this trap? Like that, okay, we heard it so many times that like don't identify with things because they change and then you would be suffer. But we still do it. I mean, this tendency, what mind have to, because I experience it. Why it's so difficult? Because it's just here. It's in my range of experience. I experience this. It's not that something somewhere in a book or in scriptures, but it's right here. I drink something, I feel taste. Or I see this drink every day on my plate. I perceive it as my drink. And if you tomorrow would not offer to me this drink, I would say, oh, why? Where is the drink? So identification with things what happen daily and you experience them. And that's why it's very important again and again remind ourselves about these things. Not put it, okay, let's deal with this when I would be close to arahantship. Because if you have this attitude, probably would be a very long journey. But if you like try to even starting from today deal with this, like even like during the day, even one time during the day, if you see where I identify and when I naturally start to compare myself, oh I'm better, or I'm inferior, or I'm superior. When these things are happening, just notice at the beginning. Just notice would be enough. Okay, I'm comparing myself. Okay, why? Because of rupa, because of body, because I feel that I'm strong or I'm beautiful. Okay, these things are changed. Like, is it really worthy? Is it suitable to compare myself, draw a conclusion because of some changing things? Like one person may look at 18 years like this, at 80 years he may look totally different, yeah, but same person, yeah, same body. And definitely also it may come with, you know, a lot of examples where the girls usually, I mean boys also, in his youth he was very pretty and strong or whatever, and then, I mean, naturally body become old, and maybe 40, 50, 60, much more difficult to keep yourself in the same shape, yeah, and it's the nature of the body. But because all his life the person have a strong māna, like I'm better than him, yeah, because I'm beautiful, and that's part when you realize that, okay, actually I'm not so pretty anymore. And I mean, things change. And if the momentum or habit to feeling yourself superior was quite like many years, many decades, this stage can be very difficult for people. And many people go down, like start to drink maybe, or start to do, like, I mean, try to chase, maybe do some plastic surgery, you know, like to kind of regain the things back. But how long you can cheat the nature, you know? Nature will take itself, there's no way. And the solution here would be the early, I would perceive that it's just a changing like phenomena. I would not compare myself with others on account of this. I would be honest, I would not cheat myself that I'm ugly if I'm not ugly. I mean, there's no point to cheat myself. But also there's no point on account of reality, change in reality, just to draw some definite conclusion and kind of jump or even despise someone, kind of feel myself superior. Then maybe we can go to some other sutta. It's also speak about māna, but it speak about more maybe in poetic way, in a way. So it's in Sutta Nipata. So one person come to the Buddha and ask him, I ask you, O kinsman of the sun. So it's an epithet of the Buddha, the relative of the sun. So in Brahmic tradition, it was kind of the thing. If someone call you relative of the sun, or you in relation to the sun, or with deity of the sun, so it's kind of good epithet or praise, we can say. I ask you about seclusion and the state of peace. So he asked about how to attain seclusion and how to be in peace. And having seen is a monk completely cooled, not taking up anything in this world. So meaning to say, how one can become an arahant to see things properly. How one may see things properly to become an arahant, to cool down completely. So that's a question. And not grasping to anything in the world. So quite deep question. Not every person has this question. Meaning to say, like, the person was ready already to some degree. He was quite good practitioner. And the Buddha's answer, the root of proliferation of concepts. Okay, we can stop here already. So the Pali term papancha, sankha. And it's a very difficult term. Different translators translate it differently, and commentary also give different interpretations. But as maybe I understand it, it's proliferation of concepts. Whenever the initial experience, what we have in the mind, initial experience, it's any idea arise, or any thoughts arise, or any feelings may arise, or anything what just initial thing. It's not a story yet, but it's just initial idea or image, and then I proliferate it. I make it bigger. I make about this idea some story. I add something. So this is a process what always happens in our mind. Initial impulse, in a way, like mental impulse, idea or concept or whatever, and then I build on this concept something. So an example would be, for example, I think about my mother. Like there's image. I can like imagine my mother or picture or whatever, or even concept mother. So this is just initial things. But then I start to think, oh, how is my mother? Or how is she there? Maybe I need to call her. Oh, I remember yesterday, like when I was there, my mother gave me some good dish and it was so beautiful. Oh, tomorrow Dana in Teams, I should go to, I have a Dhamma talk, what I need to say. So all this concept based on initial thoughts in image of the mother. If I show you, for example, here image of my mother, you would not think those things what I'm thinking. So this proliferation refer to individual. We all have our tendency, all have our whatever, like conditions, and because of this we apply it on whatever picture arises. It can come from image, it can come from sound or whatever. So how often really we see this, that in psychiatry they have a even test. Like there is something, some picture, black and white usually, and they show to the patient and they ask, what are you seeing here? And the patient, almost everyone sees some different things. I mean, of course, some tendencies, someone may see like some group of people, and by this they kind of categorize. But if you would ask even what would be your association with this picture, then person may say totally his own personal things. So again, like, it's just the nature of the mind. Mind tends to proliferate. But the truth to say, the root of this proliferation concept, why it's happening, it's I am the thinker, and quotation mark. So if I perceive myself as a thinker, I have this proliferation concept. So meaning to say, if whatever thoughts or ideas arise in the mind, if I take them as a my or I, then of course I add some story. Because if this idea of mother or image of mother would arise, and I would not feel that like it's my mother, then all the story would not arise. It would be just picture. Like if you show me a picture of your mother, you know, it would be just a picture. Maximum what I might say, oh, she look like you. This is the maximum what I can say. But I don't have those story about all your experience. So, and again, it's come together with, I am the thinker. And it's interesting that, and then the Buddha say it should stop completely, and this should be completely overcome by one who wants to become an arahant. And again, it's not about that I rejected she's my mother. Yeah, I see a picture and they say no, she's not my mother anymore. So it's not about that. Yeah, it's like admitting, okay, definitely, like this body has been born, and this woman gave a birth to this body, and like I call her my mother, and I feel gratitude to her, conventionally in a way, but idea of I or my. This is very kind of, again, changing phenomena. Like we have a lot of examples when person has biological parents one, yeah, and then they just abandon him, and another family raise him, and then also may happen after his, let's say, 10 years, something happened with these parents, and then another family take him. So in a way, he have a three mother. I mean, very unusual situation, but can happen. And then, like, when I ask him, okay, what do you feel about mother? And he may ask, what do you think, like, about which? Yeah, like in my childhood, one woman take care about me. In my later, another, and then maybe when I grow, I met actually my like actual biological parents, and I in good relationship with them. Maybe I forgive them or whatever. So he have a whole story about mother. I have different story about mother, and again, these things kind of identification with me or my, like, it doesn't lead to happiness. It doesn't lead to, and this so to say, he grasp or take anything appropriate things, and that would prevent him to be free, because something may change with my mother. Yeah, like, I mean, of course it's good things to take care about our relatives, but if the change would happen with my mother would affect my life so that I really couldn't be content and happy anymore. Like, we have a lot of examples when the couple, and they're so attached to each other. It's my husband, my wife, yeah? And when one pass away, second one don't really live long time because of the grief and strong attachment. So this, we call attachment, would lead to suffering. Like, to have a good relationship, to be in harmony, it's very good things, but always encourage be in harmony and kind of appreciate the people who are around you, be grateful, be helpful, and so on. But to attach to that degree that whatever is changed, or the person becomes sick, I also become sick because of him, yeah? Like with children, how often is happening? Like, you call your son and he would not pick up his phone, and you already imagine this papancha sanka. So you proliferate from that idea that my son didn't pick up his phone, you proliferate all the story. okay, he probably like whatever accident happened and what's happening there, I need to call and so on. So I maybe gave that example that when I stay in Sri Lanka, my mother kind of worried about me, and she saw some news when in Sri Lanka there was some flood, something like in some areas there was some flood, and even in worldly news they spoke about this. But that time we use internet only once a week. And of course, like I couldn't check my messages. And she wrote me a message. We even tried to call, but there's no response. And of course, she imagined all this story. She was not aware where's the place of that monastery where I stay. I mean, all these details maybe she didn't know. But just somewhere in Sri Lanka, there's a flood, many people die, or probably my son also died. And all this story and proliferation. And of course, she lived in hell that week. Then once I see it, of course, I contact with her, and everything was fine. But we may see that a lot of things what we imagine and proliferate, because we take it as a really strong attachment. This is my son, and something wrong with him. Like one thing to recognize, okay, my son is in danger, how I may help him. If I may help him, I do some appropriate action. But another thing, I recognize he's in danger, but I cannot do anything. Like I'm here, he's there, there's no way. I can contact him, I try. That's it. And just kind of let go. You cannot do anything more than let go. Even this letting go would be more helpful, because most of the time, because of attachment or kind of strong appropriation, and we cannot let go, we do a lot of harmful things for us and for others as well. Like a lot of examples when, I don't know, like in family, for example, husband start to commit the third, he don't follow third precepts, yeah, like he commits sexual misconduct, he goes somewhere to another wife or whatever, and just kind of relationship in that form that's it, it's probably the end. Like there's nothing to share, we took a different part, and maybe it makes sense to kind of separate ourselves. So, like sometimes it's happened. And then, but because of attachment or even pride, how he betrayed me. Like he's my husband, he should kind of be honest with myself, but now he goes somewhere. I need to, revenge him. I need to do something. Maybe also commit sexual misconduct, or even like find that woman and harm her or harm him, whatever story may be. So based on not seeing reality, not seeing that maybe situation has changed, maybe we need to, I don't know, let go. But because of I appropriate or attach with things, so then this leads to suffering. So sutta continue, but it seems like there's not much time left. So maybe one question in the end, I would like to ask you. So we now speak about comparison and how it's really unhealthy. And what in the situation when it's related to something what we appreciate, like we may appreciate spiritual development, like acts of kindness, act of generosity, act of mental development, of wisdom. So we appreciate these things. And we see one person who develops this quality, and we see another person who don't develop this quality. Like we see two monks, for example, one like practice and study, another not practice, just watch news, watch TV all the day. So should we compare them or not? So why we just spoke about the comparison, it's unhealthy. Why we need to compare them?
We just notice our thought and we follow the
Yeah, I think it's a good. So to compare, even especially myself with another, to kind of feel myself superior or inferior, this leads to suffering usually. But just logically recognize, okay, this behavior, even don't take him as a person, as a self, but just this behavior would lead him to this destination. If he kind of take on trust food given by faith and then not practicing Buddhist teaching, most likely they call it almost stealing. And stealing leads where? To hell, probably. So we don't kind of despise him, we just see this behavior would lead to this result. And I probably would not like to do this behavior. So we can take even bad examples, they're good examples sometimes, yeah? We just not following those examples. And same way with another, we just see that he do these things, and practicing these, we know the Buddha's teaching, like be some kind of generous and so on. It lead to good destination and lead to freedom from all suffering. And we just follow that example. So, but without kind of appropriation that me or my or something stable, just remembering that these things are changing. And even this lazy monk tomorrow can become an arahant, you know, I mean, maybe not tomorrow, but in a few years' time, if he really changed his mind now. Because sometimes even they say to go up, not sure that it's correct, but it's a saying, to go really up, you need to reach the bottom. You know, meaning to say, like, to really change your life, you need to really go bad. Like, if you do something, if you start to drink alcohol or whatever, so it's very difficult to change this habit unless you touch the bottom of these things. You really did something very bad, you go very wrong, and then from this very horrible experience, you learn, okay, I don't want these things. So for someone's work, someone will die in these things. So, and again, like these things, there are a lot of examples, and these things are changing. And the conclusion from this, not take things or people as a stable and permanent nature. Take them as a processes, take them as a changing phenomena, and myself as well. It means I can do things. Like, it's not that I cannot. I can change any my habit if I want, just with a lot of effort and so on. So I wish all of you to... Sad. Yeah. Okay.